in this lecture, I'm going to be covering a concept about state management. Um, I'm going to first talk about the more simple one that is um, provided by Dart Google, and which is called provider. But I also, before I actually dive into the provider state management, I'm going to talk about the other state that you've probably seen, which is here. So if we had created a brand new project from scratch and noticed what is happening here, we see something here called set state whenever we were incrementing the counter. But as you can see here, this state is tied to just this one widget, right? This stateful widget has a state, and this increment of the state is then is then incremented right here by the set state, and we increment this over and over. But this state is tied to this widget, and but what if we wanted some information that would be need to live across two different widgets, two different UI widgets? So we couldn't really store it here. It would make it very difficult to be able to access this information here from this home state widget, this home page widget, into another widget to show the value of this counter. And that's the reason why
Please subscribe to this channel and like this video to support this kind of work.
there is another state management called provider. If you look at the pub spec for this project, you can see that I have added the state management called provider here, among other things. And when you use something like this, then when we run this program, I'm going to just run it in just without debugger, and I'm going to run it in this time with the um, Android simulator right here. Shouldn't take too long since I had built it just prior. So here, um, if I were to save some information on this widget, um, I want it to stay persisted and not continually and not disappear. Okay, so if I search for something here, if I say, oops, Major Tom, save. Now, if I go back, if I go to another screen and then come back, it's not rebuilding the screen, it's just displaying the information. Um, and so this information is being stored with a provider pattern that is shown here. Let me go to that. So there is something that I built called a favorites provider, which is off of change notifier. And then you will see that in my main, in my first widget that I create, you can see here that I use a change notifier provider. I specify it here, and then I can use this provider within the application. So then here in the main screen, you can see that whenever I access, so you can see down here on the consumer, so I'm consuming the favorites provider, and you can see that I have an access to it through here that I can then render all the favorites here. So I'm consuming the the um, the data of the favorites provider here. But here above, so I look for favorite. I'm now um, I'm also in this way, also um, using the favorites provider and then being able to save something into it and make modifications to it. Okay, so that is a kind of a simple example of a state management with provider. Um, and you might see when you actually play around with the sample is that when you run it and you shut it down and restart it, you're going to see that this favorite is not saved. It's only in memory. And that's because when you look at the favorites provider here, um, when it is being added or removed, it is only being added in memory, and it's not being saved to the device's storage. And that would be another separate topic of being able to save the data not only into the in-memory list of favorites, but saving it to a storage.